And I'm not too sure if we have anybody online, but no. But we do have an expert who is available anyhow to answer any questions if we need to go that route, and just to provide a more intense background information if we need to go that far. But we do have a resolution. I don't know if you guys are have it on your iPads or anything, but we are tabling a resolution that's we're just looking on trying to advocate on behalf of the Anishinaabe Nation in Treaty 3, to continue the funding, and then not for just another year, but for years to come. We need some sort of agreement that's going to be prolonged for future years and future generations. So hopefully you guys can take a read at that one too. And we'll be probably discussing that tomorrow for the resolutions. But also, another item that I wanted to bring up too was the National Claims Research Workshop. We are going to be co-hosting with the Hudson's Bay Company Archives out of Manitoba. On October 21st to the 23rd is the dates for this event. I'm just going to read a little bit of it. This pivotal gathering assembles experts from all regions of Canada to share information regarding recent developments in information management, history, legislative initiatives, case law that directly impact the research, development, and resolution of the specific claims. This workshop features specialized sessions delivered by invited speakers who are experts in their respective fields. This year, we're going to be focusing on some of the I don't even know. I already talked about the devastating cuts and for the research units, but anyway. And more about the research claims, the roles of technology in claims research. Those are just some of the topics that are going to be discussed at this year's event. It's going to be held in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Windheim Hotel is going to be host to this event, and that's where most of the activities will be happening. And it's a really good event because it talks about the whole specific claims process. So we have all the, not only our experts, but also the Canada's key players are going to be there as well. And we invite all the chiefs to attend. I think, I don't know if Jen has handed out the save the date. Okay. But yeah, the invite is there. We are online, the National Claims Research Workshop. If you did want to attend, even just to come and listen, it'll be online, and you can register there. But that's it for my presentation. I say miigwech.
Thanks, Larry. I'll be going over the Justice Department update. So for nearly 2 decades, the Justice Department has delivered justice programming across Treaty 3 territory, expanding to a team over 35. Once fully staffed, it will support 46 positions. We have offices located in Kenora, Dryden, Fort Francis, and satellite offices in Ayoka-Magwaning, Wabsamong, Grassy Narrows, and Lac Seul. And these locations help us remain close to community needs and realities. Our core mission is to preserve and revitalize the Anishinaabe Nation's pathway towards self-determination and justice. Under Resolution CA 1029, the Kakwasea Justice Department is directed to enhance access to justice for Treaty 3 citizens, expand and develop justice projects and services, seek funding opportunities that strengthen without prejudicing existing justice initiatives. Our update on the Treaty 3 Police Service. They received short-term funding with no increase in the new 2-year agreement. They're just finalizing their culturally responsive operational review, and we're waiting to see that what came out of the recommendations. Right now we're also looking at different funding opportunities for departmental roles to support a public safety policy analyst to ensure collaboration, research, and policy coordination in support of Treaty 3 based policing. So next update is the Nietzsche Friendship Center bail program closure and transition planning. The Friendship Center bail verification and supervision program closed in Kenora, leaving the Kenora region without a bail residency program. The Ministry of Attorney General have initiated conversations with us to explore the feasibility of assuming responsibility for the program and its associated facility. So we're exploring feasibility with contractor support, but part of that is to help act as stabilizing this gap, and with existing infrastructure and capacity, and strong community support, we can reopen the facility and alleviate pressures on justice stakeholders and community members. For the interim, right now, we're looking at how we can secure a consultant and an interim operations project coordinator to lead the transition, staffing and planning, engage with MAG and community partners to secure resources and coordinate wraparound supports, explore our community reintegration planning, supported reintegration bed project to complement and strengthen the bail residency model. And we also would like to establish a dedicated advisory group to guide program design, ensuring services are rooted in Anishinaabe and Akanigewin, cultural teachings, and Treaty 3 priorities. One of the questions we've raised is, where do we go from here as a Justice Department? Do we look at an operational review and be mindful of what Grand Council's primary function is, and do we look at other options as a dedicated branch with oversight, its own governing body, and supporting, restorative justice programming and diversion programs, and how do we support the communities to develop this as well? More on that tomorrow. The next is Federal Indigenous Justice Strategy. In March 2025, the federal government announced its Indigenous Justice Strategy aimed at addressing systemic discrimination and overrepresentation of Indigenous peoples in the justice system. The strategy outlines priorities such as improving access to justice, supporting community-based approaches, and working with provinces, territories, and Indigenous communities on implementation. Funding is needed we're waiting on looking at calls for proposals. The role has been slow, but we're looking for dedicated policy staff to guide that work within the territory. The Kenora Justice Center. The Kenora Justice, formerly named, sorry Don, Gananaga Dawa Badang, one who reviews, considers, and deliberates, was launched on February 6, 2023, marking a major milestone in justice transformation in Treaty 3, developed in partnership with the Ministry of Attorney General and community stakeholders. The center serves as a model for integrating restorative justice, cultural supports, and community-based services within the court system. The center held its first sitting in February 8th, 2003, and celebrated its one-year anniversary in March 2024. Right now, as of May 2025, the Kenora Justice continues to serve as a hub for community engagement and culturally responsive justice services. This includes connecting with First Nation community leadership and service delivery teams, building relationships, and creating pathways for Justice Center participants. Further, the Treaty 3 Police Service has continued as a key partnership, now attending biweekly restorative justice meetings at the center, allowing further community connections. Since May, there has been 202 participants served. In early 2025, Grand Council Treaty 3 initiated preliminary collaboration with the Ontario Court of Justice to explore the development of a Northwest Court strategy. This initiative aims to expand community-led and Anishinaabe-informed court models that enhance accessibility and cultural relevance across Treaty 3 territory. The concept of in-community court proceedings was introduced during sessions at the Justice Center, emphasizing the importance of localized approaches grounded in elder involvement, traditional values, and healing. So Grand Council Treaty 3 has underscored the significance of active participation in these discussions and has commenced internal planning to coordinate leadership input. On August 11th, 2025, the court sat in Wabsamong, which was a great success. Additionally, efforts have begun for the court to sit in Grassy Narrows, with the meeting to begin preparations occurring September 11th, 2025. So next steps is to convene leadership, Okitcha and the cultural chiefs, to define Treaty 3's direction for the Northwest Court strategy. Continue to ensure Treaty 3 is engaged in community court discussions and establish a coordinated engagement process. Work with the Ontario Court of Justice to plan engagement involving elders, knowledge holders, and justice staff. Align this work with Indigenous justice strategy and Treaty 3 justice priorities, and track pilot activities and community input to support advocacy program design and funding. Next is program highlights. So policy and planning capacity. The Justice Department is advancing proposals to CERNAC, Justice Canada, and MEG to fund a Treaty 3 justice policy team. This team would strengthen internal coordination, lead intergovernmental justice engagement, and support implementation of the Indigenous justice strategy. Capacity would include policy research, community-driven justice design, and advocacy for Treaty 3-based legal framework. We also have the Community Reintegration Planning Table, which Michael is a co-chair. So this is a collaborative initiative with the Solicitor Generals aimed at supporting inmate reintegration into our communities through coordinated planning and service delivery. Its objective is to host biweekly meetings with community service providers and stakeholders to coordinate resources and develop comprehensive reintegration plans for inmates at the Kenora District Jail. Michael was hired back in July. He's doing really great, and I'm really lucky to have him on my team because really needed that administrative support. And he's an intelligent and hardworking individual. But another update, prior to the closure of Nietzsche Friendship Center's Bill program, we rented 2 beds for reintegration efforts. We're exploring funding and partnerships for short-term transition beds. And one key highlight of that the Indigenous Support Network coordinators put on recently is the Healing Shawl Initiative. In May, we acknowledged victims and survivors of Crime Week across Treaty 3 with workshops in Kenora, Fort Frances, Dryden, and Grassy Narrows, which provided educational materials and resources to participants. With guidance from Elder Christy Isaacs, the Justice Department was able to create a healing shawl for the use for testimonial aid across the nation. Participants at workshops decorated patches, which were then sewn into a shawl by local ally Judith McLeod, as envisioned by Elder Chrissy. The shawl was completed this summer and danced to prepare for its work at the Grassy Narrows POW in August. Oh, missing part here, sorry. I think, yeah. Another program highlight is our Gladue Youth Supports. We expanded roles within our Gladue Aftercare, Youth Diversion, and Community Justice team, and the staff was trained in trauma-informed practices. And I think that's it for updates. Which my hand's really hot.
Okay, Miigwech to the staff. Can we give them a round of applause? So I wanted to open up the floor for questions, and we'll start with education for Diana. Any questions? I know it's a long day, and people might be getting hungry. I'm not sure if we have dinner. No? Okay, so any questions for education? Okay, what about TAR? Yeah. I hope that people can, like the chiefs can attend or send a proxy to the conference that he was talking about. I know I've already scheduled that and bringing some of our team, because I think it would be a good opportunity to, you know, meet some of the researchers and yeah, that's good. Thanks for sharing that. And Alicia and Michael, any questions for them? Because I know this is, the Justice Department is a big file, so I'd like to also open up the floor for any questions, concerns. Well, maybe I'll comment then. You know, Alicia mentioned an organizational review, and I would support this. You know, I think it's long overdue. You know, there are some concerns, and I think we need to know how we can improve, and whether it's a separate entity. Yeah, I think there needs to be discussion on that, and not today, but in the next couple of days, Miigwech. So I'm looking around, and it's not only for the chiefs too, like this is a National Assembly. So if anybody wanted to ask questions from, you know, the floor, going once. Oh, Shirley? Can someone give her a mic?
Bonjour, maintenant. Kegebe animanoten digo. I want to get back to education. In Mikoandan, since our chiefs, since I mean 3D3, got the Shikamot education. I just had a comment on that one. I should go away, Jichige, Winoma, Nino in the Mine Center School. That's where our kids go, Seine River and Tigigos Minikaning. Our kids go to the school and it's out there in Mine Center. And one of the things that they're doing today is they also took that program that I think personally, this is my personal thinking, that program should have stayed with the Anishinaabe people. They're calling it a camp. So they take the kids out to this, out to the camp, Kitog, and that's just out in the bush somewheres. They do use the native people from either community to go to that camp and teach the kids about different things. But I'm thinking that kind of thing doesn't belong in a place like that. We know Goeg Mao Tram Tigurjug we can amageog. It's part of I think it's part of the land-based program that they took. When we have our own communities, both communities, there's traditional people in these two communities that could be teaching those land-based programs. What I said this morning, Gigi ob manani kushagi nind, Gigi tisi minani gegugi ishtigeot. And we could be doing that with our children too. But that one I know didn't come to, again, grassroots. I never heard that brought to our community here in Nigigons Minikaning. Just all of a sudden, the past few years they've had that cultural camp, Utishinikata now, but they can't always get elders to go and teach in different things. Me, yes, so with part of that education as 3D3 works towards trying to get, I don't know, don't really know what you're trying to do. Just kidding. Sorry. I don't know. Anyways, I was thinking with those kind of programs, and there is funding for land-based programs. Why not bring them to the communities? Why do we have to take them to the schools, whether it's in Fort Francis Mine Center? We have all the resources in our communities. Pebkan is not just one person either. People have different skills in different areas. You know, we could start using our own in these areas. That's what I just wanted to comment on, because to me that's the most important thing, is that we start to teach our children our ways. Nishnabega jikina mind, you know, they're just as important as the other getting educated. We need that today. We need that kind of help to do our chimachia budget in ka ishiga boy igoing. Muninen gewich igoing, but we also need the other, the mainstream education. We do need both. More importantly, we need to know our ways as Anishinaabe people. That's what's going to strengthen us. That doesn't mean we have to live like our ancestors did, you know? It just means we pick up those teachings and bring them forward so we can all help each other. Not just helping the adults, but we're starting with our children. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Shirley, I just wanted to add to her comments from this morning because, you know, she has words of wisdom. And at the last Cultural Chiefs Committee meeting a few weeks ago, there was a recommendation that will be coming forward that we hold an annual elders gathering or meeting. And, you know, I think it would be a great opportunity for us to share and learn. And so we can have that Minobimatazuin. And, you know, one of the things that I would like to see is I know that that we have elders out there that know all those traditional games. I've seen a couple of them, but I think we need to share that and have those have that because we have to pass on those customs and traditions. And that's all I wanted to say. And I want to say miigwech to everybody, and I'll pass the mic over to Nagan Nabines.
Oh, miigwech, miigwech, miigwech. I understand that we're done with this presentation. $5:06. Do you want to continue with the last presentation, Environmental Chiefs update, or would you like to adjourn for the day? Okay, we got about 2 or 3 adjournments, signaling. We'll ask our singers to render us a song to adjourn for the day. Sean, come on up. Again, tomorrow is breakfast at 9 o'clock. But before you adjourn, we also have an exclusive Fall Assembly beef bundles. They're only available till October 2nd. There are 2 bundles. One for $215. The other is bundle number 2 for $212. There are different cuts of meat and stir fry and sirloins, and you should fill out a form at the economic tent outside for your order. So they're only available during this assembly. If you need more forms, Haley has them all. Okay, just one more housekeeping announcement. Finance He's here. Most of the travels are done by EFT, electronic funds transfer, if the finance department has your bank information, so they'll send it to you that way. Please see Maya Bowles, Finance, if you have any questions. She does have a couple of checks for the ones who don't have bank information. So Mia, where is she? Okay, so if you don't have in banking information with the Grand Council, see her for your travel and whatnot. Miigwech. Okay, Sean. Miigwech. For your information, we had 24 chiefs and proxies, so all come back tomorrow, all 4 of yous. Once we're done the Environmental Chiefs Assembly, we'll be closing the National Assembly and moving to the Chiefs meeting. Breakfast, 8:30. We'll see you here at 8:31. Haha, miigwech.